Welcome everybody, and I believe this deck breaks the matchmaker in the way that we can manipulate what decks we are playing against. To understand it, I need to bring you some examples where I think you will understand the deck more easier. This is why let's check it out together. I believe a lot of you have encountered a situation that you are building a deck against a certain other deck and then suddenly you're playing only against mirror matchups or against very similar decks. So we are talking about aggro, midrange and control decks. This is why I believe that a matchmaker in the arena is designed to put you in a fair matches so you have an equal chance to win or to lose. Because of it, I was trying since multiple months, usually at the end of the rank season, because there is a lot of people who try to rank up really fast with really aggressive decks like mono red, mono white soldiers and Azorius soldiers to rank up just in 3 minutes a game to get the rank that they want to get. And this is why I was creating this list for a while. I was adjusting things, and I want to tell you up front, as soon as you change the interactions in this deck, you will have different matchups. This is why you see maybe a lot of interactions like Cut Down, Infernal Grasp and Path of Peril, only 2 of, because I think this is exactly the border where if we put a third copy of it, our matchmaker will think we are a midrange or a control deck and put us in these matchups where we don't want to be. This is why I designed this deck to specially perform good against aggro matchups, but also to be placed every game into an aggro matchup, so I have the upper hand in this game. You see, maybe besides of some control elements, we have also some live game with Intrepid Adversary, but also some card selection with our Recruitment Officer, because he's a great tool just to come late in the game and also start drawing you your powerful 2 and 3 drops. But also things like Sheoldred and Wandering Emperor. I know a lot of people are tired of these cards, but they are just amazing by tricking the matchmaker into thinking that you are an aggro deck. Specifically here, the 2 copies of Wandering Emperor, of course it will be more powerful to play 3 or 4 of them, but as soon as I add 1 more copy of Wandering Emperor, I will play against Azorius control almost every second game. This is why go only with 2. Invoke Despair in this deck has no value at all. I can recommend also to change it against something else, and I'm gonna talk about it at the end of the gameplay part a little bit more, but I made for you or prepared for you a sideboard where you have access to some cards that I adjust depending on what rank and where I'm playing and what I'm facing more in the last few days of the rank. So very important, if the season is ending in the few days, like 2 or 3 days, try this deck with some adjustments from the sideboard. For example, Phyrexian Missionary against mono red, temporary lockdown against more mono red and also enchantment players. Edgar, if there is some mono green stuff that maybe goes with beefy creatures and tries to remove your creatures all the time and have some interaction, Edgar is a really good addition here. And against Azorius and mono white soldiers, Liesa is just a beater, not only by extending the cards but being also evasive, being able to block the flyers, and also in the late game not giving him the chance to top deck this 3-2 flying dude that suddenly gives everybody flying and go over the top. Liesa is the perfect answer in this situation. And of course against the most decks that wanna go white, for example mono white soldiers and also Azorius soldiers, Path of Peril is just an amazing card. I tried to run 3 off, and then it's really funny, you will face a lot of mid-range decks, for example Esper midrange, Grixis midrange. This is why I reduced 1 card of it. It was really long ago, and then suddenly I just stopped facing these decks out of nowhere. For the mana base, I go with 26 lands because we really need to hit our land drops to go on the curve. Sometimes I was considering maybe to reduce it down to 25, but for now I never really had an issue with mana flat or not drawing enough my lands, so this is why 26, but you can adjust it. This deck is definitely something for the grinder between you. I know my audience is a really wide one, and I know some want to see some competitive stuff, some want to see some more fun and interesting builds. I think this hits a little bit both ways, because if you try to reach your platinum, your diamond or your mythic, I think if you go with this deck in the last few days of the season, you will do everything right. To have a better understanding, I think the gameplay part will be amazing. This is why let's not waste further time and let's go straight there. Welcome everybody to the Broken Matchmaker, a deck that I believe will break the matchmaker or does break the matchmaker, because I hope you're gonna see it in this gameplay part, and we are going second, and this is the best example for it. I feel like the matchmaker thinks that we are an aggro deck, and this is why it wanna pair us often against other aggressive decks. This is why we often have a really easy job to deal with opposing creatures, because I try to find the right balance between spells, creatures, aggression, and suddenly out of nowhere the game decided that I should have more of certain things or of certain decks. This is why mostly we're gonna avoid midrange, mostly we're gonna avoid control, because the matchmaker will think that we are a aggro deck. That we are obviously not, because we run the good stuff from mono black, we run the good stuff from mono white, like Wandering Emperor. That gives us possibilities against aggro decks, but maybe not the best cards against, I don't know, for example, wow, my opponent escalating right now. Sure, my friend. So next turn, should I pump it? This is a good question, huh? Let's try it. Let's try it. I think we're gonna pump it. Opponent has maybe something like Fading Hope, but this will be okay. Or maybe something like March of Wardly. Oh, no, the other March. The blue March. And who knows? Who knows? We're gonna see now. We're gonna see what my opponent is ready to do and ready to sacrifice for his Fairy Vandal, and if it's gonna get too close, we're gonna definitely do. Interesting. Interesting. So, let's take a peek in my opponent's hand to just have the information what we are dealing here with. And my opponent has Defiance, Sleep Out the Back, and Defiance. So let's go for Sleep Out the Back, I would say. And then we're gonna go next. Let's attack, I would say, right? Yeah, let's attack with all. Because even if my opponent Sleep Out the Back Infernal Grasp, we're gonna do some damage. We're gonna interact with my opponent's creature in his turn. Precisely set here in the second main, and then we're gonna see what my opponent wants to do from there. Okay, let's interact with it here to put the stop out. Sleep Out the Back, but very expensive one. And if you're asking me if I'm ready to catapult this board, yes I am. Yes I am, because I have so much things that will just give me the upper hand. We're gonna attack, we're gonna draw the cards. Oh, don't mind me if I do. Don't mind me if I do another underdog, and this will force my opponent maybe to do something else. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see next turn how my opponent decides to do it. Another combat research, sure. I'm thinking lifelink is a little bit annoying, yes, but still possible. Still possible. Draw a bunch of cards and 2 mana open. Okay. So let's do it like this first. We're gonna attack all. Okay, this is better. Scries to the bottom goes down to 2, loses the creatures, and gaining a Graveyard Trespasser. Good game, my friend. Good game. I salute you. This is how we abuse the matchmaker to force us in the games where we want to be. So let's go next. And here we are in our second game, and this is a hand. And I think I can keep on being on the draw. I think I'm gonna keep it because we have some interaction. We have some follow-up. Double Sheoldred is not what I want to draw, but sure. We're gonna keep the interaction, see what my opponent has for 2, or maybe for 3. So the Graveyard Trespasser has some targets. My opponent keeps 2 mana open, but nothing else. This is why we're gonna play the Graveyard Trespasser and see what my opponent has to offer. Nothing. Let's go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And here we are in our next game against Furia X, and this is also an amazing opening hand to go second, and this is maybe also a great representation here how we will align here, because we have Path of Peril and we have Intrepid Adversary. I think as soon as I play Intrepid Adversary, my opponent will start popping his creatures on the board because he will suspect that I am an aggro player, and will definitely try to put things on the board that is good for Path of Peril, and especially now with our 3-drop, it's really powerful. Our opponent, you see, is soldiers, my freaking soldiers, and this is okay, because this is exactly what we want to do and how we want to do that. If my opponent takes for 2, it will be not smart from him. This is a smart decision. So no interaction here. Let's go with Graveyard Trespasser, because this is not a board I want to nuke, right? I'm gonna just chill and say, hey, if you don't want to attack, I don't want to attack too, and especially because Talia has first strike. This is, on the other hand, is a board maybe that I consider to nuke, but just consider. And we're gonna see my opponent attacks with Talia. A very interesting attack, to be honest. This will give me definitely one more turn. Okay, this will definitely give me one more turn. We're gonna play the white source, and we're gonna do it how? No attacks, and the turn. Turn it to night. Brutal Qatar coming in does nothing right now. And if opponent another veteran, not bad, definitely not bad. Let's see what my opponent wants to do, because he suspects a Wandering Emperor, but yeah, this is what I thought will happen. We're gonna minus exile you and kill you. No, not even, don't care, to be honest, don't care about it. So let's plus on you. I have the feeling if I play now my Liesa, that my opponent gonna top deck his 3rd land and play Brutal Qatar on Liesa. The question is, do I want to do that, right? So I would say let's go in, get some life, and then we're gonna sweep the board, right? I think this is a better play. This way we keep the cut down open, just in case we top deck another black source, so we can play Invoke Despair if opponent puts too much pressure on the board. You see 3rd land, I told you. And if now Brutal Qatar hits the board, it's night, so it will be a 3-3. It's okay. Siege Veteran, okay. Can go bye-bye. You see? You see? We are breaking the Matchmaker. The Matchmaker doesn't know what to do with this hand. Just doesn't know what to do with it. We're gonna go minus. We're gonna play Liesa, and this will hit next turn the Brutal Qatar, because my opponent was likely gonna try to play the Brutal Qatar. And this is how we can plan ahead. Siege Veteran, okay. This pair hits also the Siege Veteran, right? So there is not a big in what we can do and how we wanted to do, and Invoke Despair is always really painful. Exile, because of Liesa. 2 lands, sure, not a problem, my friend. Blasting on the token, because if Brutal Qatar hits the board, it will go for Liesa. And this is how we abuse the Matchmaker, my friends. I hope you understand what we are doing here right now. We are playing a controlish deck, but telling our Matchmaker that we are an aggro deck. And this is, I think, the fascinating part, and especially shortly before the season ends, you will farm aggro so hard with this deck like nothing else. This is literally how you can get to your Mythic, get to your Platinum, get to your Diamond, wherever you want to be. You can push with this deck in the last days, because everybody is gonna play aggro decks to rank up in 3 minutes a game, right? This is why. Let's go next. And here we are against Mire 13, and go first is a keeper. Go first is a keeper. Go second I will consider, because it will be really low, but go first is a keeper. And I hope you see already a little bit a pattern. We played 4 games, and I think all 4 of them were against aggro. And we are actually amazing against aggro. This is the first mid-range deck, I will believe, or I will consider it as being the first mid-range deck. And this is actually a good hand against mid-range, right? So to interact with my Graveyard Trespasser, my opponent will have difficulties. If my opponent counters it now, it also not really like wow. And the only reason to counter it now is for him to play the 3 mana dude that exiles a creature from the graveyard, right? This is the only reason to do it, so he can draw a card, Corpse Appraiser. This is what I meant. So this is the first mid-range deck that we're gonna meet today, or are meeting today, and we're gonna see how it's gonna go for my opponent, because, I mean, I think next turn I'm still gonna play Graveyard Trespasser, right? Or do we play Graveyard Trespasser and let 1 mana open? But this 1 mana is not really useful for anything. Also, the Underdog is not really useful. Let's play the Graveyard Trespasser just because my opponent also discarded one of the Flesh Gorger. And we're gonna do to my opponent the same that he did to me. Just in this case, we're gonna take some trades, or like, let's say, drain my opponent for a little bit. My opponent is at 4 mana, sure. Maybe Sheoldred, maybe. Here she is. So Sheoldred is a B. Let me draw a little bit better, my friend. And we are not gonna play anything. I'm gonna let my opponent here for a little bit, turn it to Knight. So our Graveyard Trespassers are a little bit stronger. My opponent suspects Emperor, Wandering Emperor. This is okay, so, right? This is totally fine. Sacrificing here and there. So my opponent gonna heal for a bunch. Good that my opponent hits the land, and I cannot hit the land, but this is totally fine. Fine. So my opponent obviously knows that there is a Wandering Emperor coming, but this is okay, because this will allow me to play my Wandering Emperor, create some tokens. Yes. Playing out our Underdog. Plussing on the Underdog. And playing out another Underdog. No attacks. Gonna chill. See if my opponent top decks another Invoke Despair. Most likely they do. Usually the mid-range decks do that. But we are not here to win against mid-range. I mean, we have the possibility, definitely, if we draw our lands, right? We can sweep everything. We can do a lot of things. But so my opponent has a handful of removal, right? So I suspect now both of them goes to after Wandering Emperor. Wow! Wow, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm dead. I'm dead. If my opponent sees it, I'm dead. Let's see if the Grixis opponent understands it. Looks like he doesn't. This will be 7 damage and 2 damage from the Sheoldred. I will be dead, but my opponent decides to give me another chance, and this is okay. Let's go. And would like to have more white sources to play the Recruitment Officer, but beggars can be choosers. That's why let's play it main phase, exile the Sheoldred, get 2 life, so we are at 4. Corpse Appraiser can now go after the Wandering Emperor, obviously, but he can also go after my face. Goes after my face because this is just 1 more mana left, or 1 more stuff left. Okay. Mid-range. Mid-range with a pretty good draw, and we not so good draw, but this is not what we are here to do. We are here to destroy aggro or farm aggro, so let's go next. And here we are against Rai. Rai, let's see what you are. If you are an aggro opponent, looks like soldiers. Looks like soldiers, honestly. Yeah. Just without any soldier in the hand. Weird. Yeah, soldiers. You see, I told you. I told you, my friend, I told you. So, let's go attack and let's see what my opponent gonna do. right? If you're watching this video, I'm sorry, but this is the dumbest block I ever saw. You have more damage in the air, you have an evasive creature that I cannot answer instantly, and you are blocking 2 damage. Sure, it's your decision. You are playing the game, not me. Totally fine here, playing our Graveyard Trespasser. Could have taken a peek into my opponent's hand, but in this case, I rather put a Graveyard Trespasser on the board than to have something else, and also start the day-night cycle, right? Because the day-night cycle is a good cycle. Okay, my opponent decides to give a counter there. It's not a big at all. Let's check out what my opponent has there. Another Siege Veteran, Brutal Qatar, Talia, and Recruitment Officer. Let's go for... I want him to play Brutal Qatar and Talia and Recruitment Officer, so I don't want him to play the Siege Veteran, right? Let's go, where are you? Where is he? Ah, here, Siege Veteran. Let's go for Siege Veteran, and we're gonna chill. So now, we're gonna see. I believe in this game we have pretty good chances, not only because of Sheoldred, but also because of Path of Peril. We just need to hit our lands, and we have enough lands in our deck, 25 to be precise. Still no good attacks. Ooh, this is a very good draw. So let's play another Sheoldred, and let's chill for a while. Because now my opponent needs to find another Brutal Qatar to deal with Sheoldred, and then I hope by this time I have already my Path of Peril ready, that's gonna decimate my opponent's board. There's not really, like, he can give it to Talia, then I'm gonna put my something in the way, we're gonna see. Right now, to Path of Peril, my adversary dies and his officer and his Talia dies, right? And he creates a bunch of tokens here. Okay, draw a card. Don't wanna it to turn to night, this is why let's do it like this. This will create more soldiers, but soldiers die to Path of Peril. The veteran, right? Veteran, let's go for veteran. Where are you? Siege Veteran. Bring it in. Bring it on, my friend. No atakujce. And my opponent slowly but surely losing life. I'm sorry. Okay. The best what my opponent can do right now is to try to attack into something, but he tries to distribute the counters evenly. This is a really weird evenly. He could theoretically attack, like it will not change a lot, right? This is more smarter attack. Still pushing out. Interesting. So just in case, because my opponent's still pushing out, let's play another Sheoldred. And say, I'm gonna chill. I'm not sure why my opponent gives me a nice thank you, my friend. I have only 2 Sheoldred in the deck, but Irina knows exactly what it does. So now in this case, what I'm looking for is definitely to draw another land. But also to Infernal Grasp one of the Siege Veterans, so they don't create so much these tokens. And then maybe Path of Peril just for 3 mana, or in this case for 4 mana, because Talia taxing us. So still 2 mana open. Let's see. 1/1. Okay. Interesting attack from my opponent. 2 mana, but he has a legendary, so Eiganjo is available. This is why let's do it like that. And this 3 damage is not really worth the risk, I would say. It's not worth the risk. Because I'm certain that my opponent has Okay. Do we turn it to night now? I think we're gonna turn it to night. And the turn. And before my opponent distributes too many counters here, I'm gonna pop the Infernal Grasp. Why didn't I? Why couldn't I? Literally, his main phase went over. I could not even play my Infernal Grasp, right? Like, what the hell? Game. Sure. Sure. Let's deal with one of the Siege Veterans. Why did game skip this phase? Don't really understand. Don't really understand. Okay. So the Peacekeeper is currently not needed because he taxed already enough. And in this case, my opponent gonna create few tokens, but it's okay. Right? He needs to find a solution for our Sheoldred. From there, we can do something else maybe. Okay, we're gonna get some life, remove all the small stuff. 2 mana open. My opponent can also run counterspell, so maybe also a counterspell, but we're gonna see. And my Graveyard Trespasser can eat up the veteran, right? This is why there's 4 copies of Graveyard Trespasser, because we need to eat up this dude that he don't give every token there or every creature, soldier creature, a 1/1 counter. Without you, you're gonna stay as a blocker. We're gonna eat up veteran, and this veteran gets some life. My opponent can put a bunch of tokens in the way with Siege Veteran if he wants, but I don't think he's gonna do that. He is gonna take a lot of damage. And this is what you will face in the end of the season. Now, very soon, I think in like 10 days. This is what you're gonna face in 10 days. Because, okay, my opponent goes down to 5. Okay. This was my concern, that he has maybe another Siege Veteran and gonna pop here a lot of creatures. This is why I wanted to keep my Sheoldred a little bit back, because we could not contribute anything else to the board. Opponent needs to spell another spell for 1 mana. I don't see him really doing that. There is the Eiganjo. He does it. Okay. Is there an attack from my opponent? There is. Sure. Sure. We're gonna kill you so my opponent don't create another token. My opponent gonna take over the thingy now. And we are gonna go here, go there. So I attack all. He needs to put something into the way, right? Do you know the way? My opponent gives me a good game. Is it though? Let's see. Let's see if this is a good game. Brutal Qatar? What do you put in the way? Talia, okay. Then let's play the other Brutal. Let's end the turn. Okay. Before I can assign the blockers, I'm gonna pump the Brutal Qatar, but I think this is not fully enough, right? Oh no, it is. It is. It is enough. Give him a good game back. Salute my soldiers! Salute my soldiers! Give me another good game. Satisfying. You know this feeling? When people good game you, and then you turn it around because they attack all instead of just attacking how much they need. Salute. I know you're watching. Why is the rank not coming up? I don't know. I'm playing rank, but it's not coming up. But you know you like it. You know you enjoy it. And I hope we're gonna continue this until we reach our next diamond rank. So let's go there. So our next game on the draw. Needed to drink of the good game. I mean, it was super close. Will my opponent not have attacked with Brutal Qatar, I would have lost. But this is an opening hand that I'm actually not happy with, because Sheoldred is here. If Sheoldred would be not here, I think I would have kept it. But we're gonna mulligan this one. This is better. And Invoke Despair is far from casting. This is why let's play here. And opponent is a mono red aggro deck. Okay. This will be an interesting dance here. So let's play the white source. Next turn Infernal Grasp. And then follow up by Graveyard Trespasser. Now again difficult decision. But sure. Wow. Okay, let's deal with Swifter Pifter, because I believe my opponent runs some other shenanigans. Taking some damage, yes, against mono red not the best, but we're gonna get a little bit of life back, and this is a good blocker for the next turn because opponent has difficulties to interact with it, and I'm gonna put it in the way. So was fun. My opponent now lightning. Ooh, this is an expensive lightning strike, huh? And one more. What do you have there? Ooh, yes! Give me another black source. Not you. Another black source, please, game. Bloodthirsty Adversary can go. So this is 2 damage in the air. But I need another black source. Another black source will... Okay. Another black source will definitely be helpful. And... I mean, if you top deck something haste, I'm dead. If you top deck a burn spell, I'm dead. So I think I need to play... No, I'm dead. If I play Sheoldred, I'm dead because this will deal me 2 damage. Right? Yeah. So... Path of Peril. Go down to 1 and everything he top decks kills me. Except a land. Mono black on the play. Or mono red, I'm sorry. Really difficult without the right mana base, but it happens. Let's go next. And here we are, finally going first against Prestige W. And it's okay hand to go first. I think we have until turn 2 some interaction. Turn 3 we're gonna check what my opponent is running. And turn 4, if we top deck another black source, we can play the Sheoldred. Also not bad. So my opponent maybe some white soldiers? I play a lot of soldiers. I don't know why. Yeah, white soldiers. Mono white, no, usually why mono white don't run it. This is for blue Azorius soldiers, right? So let's go with you. Let's go with Anointed Peacekeeper. He can flash in. He's resolute. He's okay. We're gonna check what he has in his hand. Tax it appropriately. There is the Resolute Reinforcer. Let's see. He has. Who has more value with 3 mana? I think Siege Veteran, right? Siege Veteran is more annoying. Yes, Siege Veteran. Siege Veteran. Because the Sky Dude I can deal with it without even thinking about it. But a Siege Veteran I need to deal when he comes into the play with my cut down. This is okay too. Okay too. No good attacks. Totally fine. Oof. 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 Don't know if my opponent gonna like it, but I'm gonna say who cares. Who cares? I could have also first attacked, and then if my opponent would have something dangerous, I could have killed the Siege Veteran. So let's do the following now. Let's attack all in, no time for pushing out, and see how my opponent wants to block. Because we have enough interaction, we have enough possibilities to do a lot of things. Opponent triple blocks, all 3 of them gonna die, all 4 of them gonna die, he's gonna hate it. Exactly because of cut down. Can draw cards, but for 1 mana I don't think that there is anything he can do. Draw cards, my friend, draw cards! Draw fucking cards! Freaking soldiers! How do you like it? And then, creme de la creme, from the top of their library. He's gone, good. No look quit. Let's go, let's go. Just, I think, 1 or 2 victories more. I don't know how much, I didn't check the profile, but let's go. Here against Urbaka on the draw again. And it's okay, it's okay. I have turn 1, turn 2, my opponent again some soldier stuff maybe. I'm so used to soldiers you cannot even believe it. It's like... Oof. I'm facing mostly soldier with this deck, sometimes mono red, and if mono red plays like in the last turn with a perfect turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, it's really difficult to do anything against it, anything. Okay, now we have our white source, but I wanna first deal with the Voice of the Blast and with Luminach Veteran, because I believe he's a life gain deck, so I'm fine with it if my opponent trades with it, yeah. Because I think he's a life gain deck. Next turn we're gonna find out. Next turn our Anointed Peacekeeper will definitely tax some angels. What the fuck? Inspiring Overseer, where are you? Inspiring Overseer? Overseer here, Inspiring Overseer. The fuck, give him a nice for 3 Overseers in the opening hand without another land. Veteran hits the board. Giada goes for 2. Not a big at all. Let's play the non-painful source. Let's deal with Giada. My opponent, I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. So sorry. So let's play another one and see what else my opponent has in his hand. Voice of the Blast, okay. Voice of the Blast. 4 mana Voice of the Blast. He keep the hand, he played his way. Okay. Definitely okay, gain some life. Gaining some life here, huh? Gaining some life here, my friend. And here is why Recruitment Officer is also an amazing mid-range possibility, because we can draw cards with it. A lot of cards. So my opponent takes it like a big boy, we play the Officer and go next, because I'm gonna draw an opponent's turn the card, or see if he can draw a 1, 2 or 3 drop creature, and then we're gonna see. My turn. Okay, my opponent cannot play a lot. We're gonna take some pain. It's okay. Oh, this is actually a nice draw. This is a very nice draw. Fucking auto-tapper! I'm gonna kill it someday. I'm gonna kill it someday. I'm gonna kill somebody. Why he tapped both of my white sources? Why? It's like the auto-dapper wants it to happen, right? He wants it. Like, what the hell? I could have played Adversary, pump it, and play on my sleeper and keep the underdog as a haster. But no, no, the auto-tapper decides, oh, you need both of your white sources to play Adversary here. Come on. Come on. That's too obvious, huh? That's too obvious. Let's go. Let's go. I just checked. We need one more win. We are one more tick away from... oh, no, here we are. One more tick away from Diamond 3, and I'm certainly, if we continue rigging the matchmaker, then we're gonna reach it. And here we are against Flying Candyman. Going first is actually a good hand. And you see, maybe how many games did we played? I think like 7? We played one single mid-range that beat us, because it was Grixis mid-range, and the rest is aggro decks against soldiers. Against soldiers. They never learn. They never learn. Against soldiers. And this is what fascinates me so much about this game, that you can tell whatever you want, but this game is rigged. This game is rigged. Like, doesn't matter what and how you say, on what side you are. I'm also the my opinion that it's a lot happening in your head, but I'm telling you, there are forces in the game that learn out of it. It's like an algorithm, right? It learns out what cards are used in what decks, what certain win rates they have, and then try to put you in a fair matchup or a similar matchup. That is at the end not the case, right? It's not the case. So let's attack Kutsi here. Submit 0. Don't want to exile my thingy. Opponent does nothing. I'm gonna kill the freaking officer next turn because I can. And then I'm gonna say ciao to you. Not gonna lie, like this play. And it's nighttime. Opponent goes for 2. Sure, my friend, sure, go for 2. We're gonna play you. We're gonna attack. Exile one of you. In my graveyard there is no creatures, right? Yeah. Mid 0. Next. And increase the tempo just a little bit. There's nothing to exile. Submit 2. Submit 0, I'm sorry. Graveyard Trespasser is an amazing creature against the shenanigans here. Sure, my friend. Just go for it. Just go for it as much as you need to go. One doesn't even wanna do anything here. Just double spells here. I cannot give him so much time. This is why I'm gonna attack. Force my opponent to do something, right? I cannot give him so much time. He's gonna block with Talia, obviously. I'm gonna Eiganjo it. I'm gonna play my Graveyard Trespasser and exile the Talia. Yeah, and now one Path of Peril. Ooh, this was a super important play. Super important play. Really? What? Okay. My opponent is forced to block now. At least one dude needs to block. Yes. Is this enough is the question. Doesn't matter. Three, four, I think this is enough. I think this soldier deck had a little bit more luck. This is enough. Yeah, this is obviously enough. 3, 3, 9. This is more than enough, more than enough. But I think this is the cut for me. We are recording. Oh, my opponent is over. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. I think this is representation enough. You saw exactly what I mean. We played, I think, 8 games now, and I believe 7 out of the 8 games were against aggro decks. Where I'm still a little bit playing around, and this is something, is with the life gain. Sometimes I feel like Liesa, for example, in a situation like this, will give me more an upper hand than Invoke Despair. And this is maybe what I recommend to you, because Invoke Despair at first is really difficult to cast because we have a really balanced mana base. And second off, I think Invoke Despair is not as impactful in this deck as we want it to be, right? Invoke Despair is just a really powerful tool against enchantment matchups, because I encountered, I think, last season when I was climbing at the last days of the rank, a lot of enchantment players, Celestial enchantments, a basic list. And there is Invoke Despair much stronger. So for example, here now, so early in the season where only face soldiers, I will definitely go with more copies of Liesa, then I will go with copies of Invoke Despair. So this is upfront, I want to tell you that, and I'm sure I'm going to mention it in the intro too. Otherwise, you can adapt it every season, depends where you're playing. At the end of the season, adapt it. The most important part is don't change the removal or interaction. As I already said, as soon as you go up to 3, it's not gonna work. The game will think, hey, he's a more controlish matchup, he's more a mid-range matchup, so let's put him in these matchups, that it's a more even matchup, right? Because often if you play mid-range, you play against mid-range. If you play control, you play more often against control. If you play aggro, you play more often against aggro. And this is what I try to do with this deck. I try to simulate that I'm an aggro deck, but actually with a lot of tools against aggro players, to just farm these players. And usually I don't play so early this deck, but I just wanted to bring it out to you, because who knows when you are watching this this video. Maybe for me it's now 10 days, you are watching this maybe 2 days left until the season end, and you say, hey, I want to climb more consistent, but the aggro is destroying me. This is definitely a deck where you can abuse the matchmaker to really put you in the matchups where you want to be in the upper hand. And this is, I think, what we done it here with the best representation of 7 out of 8 games against aggro matchups. What should I say more, right? Does it need adjustment? Yeah, because, as I said, this deck is from the previous season, and there are some things that are not as adjusted as it should be. But I will put some cards into the sideboard. If you are interested, check it out, so you can adjust it depending on what matchups you are facing. For example, against soldiers, I will put something else against enchantments. Invoke Despair is amazing against enchantment player, because they sacrifice not only multiple creatures but also enchantments and so on and so forth. Yeah, I will put some cards there. You can take there some inspiration if you don't have some cards. Yeah, otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you like it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao!